So I started doing video about 8 years ago. And I had this moment. I used to live in Texas, and I was living on the Gulf of Mexico. By the way, if you ever get a chance to live on the beach in the winter, do it. It's awesome. But anyway, that was kind of when I had my epiphany about video, and I realized that this is the way forward. This is what people are going to be using to communicate. And so I started, for lack of a better term, my journey with video through the metaphorical lens of an instructor. I want to learn how to do it, but I want to learn how to do it so I can teach other people how to do it. And that's the path I've been on for about the last 7 years. So I'll show you a website before we leave today. It's thevideoseminar.com. And that's where the video stuff lives. I'm currently rewriting the courses. We're going to deploy them again, probably late summer, early fall. And this is not a commercial. I don't want to talk about that today. But again, just for kind of frame of reference and context, I've been doing this for a while. And I've shot pro work. I do consulting. This video thing is really cool. So one of the questions Lisa had or wanted me to say was, people like him, I don't know if I want to do this or not. And I just want to say first, I totally get it. I do. I'm an advocate of video. I think most people should be doing it. I don't think everybody should be doing it. But what I want to do with my little talk today, and she gave me about half an hour to do this, is I want to walk you through the basic core things that you need to know so that you can make quality video. Let me talk about that for just a second, because I get this all the time, and I talk to audiences and I talk to clients. I'll give an example. So there was a guy who I was talking to in Santa Cruz a couple days ago. He's a realtor, pretty high up. He's in leadership in his association. And he's like, this video thing, we've been talking about it, and I'm really in. I want to do it. I just want to sit down, kind of bang it out, do a couple 30-second pieces a week. And I said, okay, that's cool. And I said, can I say something about that? He goes, absolutely. I said, okay. Wrong point of view. What? Yeah, wrong point of view. He goes, what do you mean? I said, it is a fool's errand to put out a bad video because that is how people are going to remember you. This is your image, and they can rewind and play it or not. They can share it or not, and they can choose to watch you or not. I'll talk about the trade in just a minute. So if you're going to do this, my encouragement, my strong encouragement, is to learn how to do it and how to do it the right way. Now, you guys are on the real estate industry, mortgage and brokerage. Your job, the way I define it, I've been training brokers for a long time, is to develop a very high level of trust and rapport with a complete stranger in a short period of time. 3 parts to that. High level trust and rapport, complete stranger, short period of time. Using video consistently and properly and deploying it and having it on your website and all those things that you do, in my view as a business person, that is the strongest thing that you can do to shore up your presence in the marketplace. Now, do I have 10 million subscribers on YouTube? No, I do not. I don't really have that many at all, but the ones I have are the ones I want. And that's how I'm building my tribe on video. So I don't want to talk too much about YouTube or Vimeo or whatever today. What I'm saying is, if you're going to do this, have the right context about it. Put yourself out as a professional and understand what you need to do. And that alone will do more to enhance your image in the video marketplace than anything else. Okay? Now, what I want to do next, and just if you would, I have some notes for you to make. So if you have something to write with or type with or whatever, I'd like you to write down a couple of ideas. They're really important, okay? So the first thing I want to talk about with video is your learning curve, okay? And so learning curve is kind of like a parabola, right? On the upper y-axis, you have your competency, and on the lower x-axis, you have your time. So the basic idea is you start out and you're kind of bumbling along and it sucks and I'm super frustrated. All of a sudden it starts working, then it gets better and better and better, and then whoop, then you go like that, okay? That's a learning curve. Video is a learning curve. There's absolutely no doubt about it at all, and you should understand it that way. And what I mean by that is setting your expectations. Now, I do another course on negotiation. We do 20 minutes just on expectations, and people in sales totally get this. But I'm talking to you right now about your expectation of yourself if you choose to start making video, okay? And I'll just summarize it this way. The first 5 videos you make are going to suck, and you never want people to see them, and they'll take you probably 2 to 3 hours a piece, turn out a 2-minute video. That's just the truth. I've trained thousands of people in doing this. Okay, and I've done it myself. Videos 6 through 10 will take less than half the time of 1 through 5 because now you've built the neural pathways in your brain and you get sort of how this thing is working. You're like, oh, I did that one a lot better. And then you get kind of happy and you get kind of excited and then you're on your way. But those are proper expectations about learning curve and what you should expect of yourself before you even start doing this. Okay. All right. That's point number 1. Let's go to point number 2.
A quick question,
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
So would you make sure you cover like top 5 topics that you would recommend for our first videos? Some of us have been doing videos. Like I know I've probably done 20. As you say, you're like, oh, Lisa, you're so good. But I know they suck. So I want to kind of move into that next step. But raise your hands, guys, if you have videos on your website. Of 1. So Joe, we've got one
We've
person.
all got work to do.
And you are dealing with people who are beyond 6-figure real estate professionals here.
Okay, so I have a small piece prepared about topics. When I get there, we'll expand a little bit. Okay? All right. Let's talk about what I call the paradigm of video. There are 3 parts to it. Write down these words. They're one word each. Story, shoot, edit. Story, shoot, edit. I don't care if you're making a video for your kid's birthday. I don't care if you're making a video for a $2.5 million listing. It's always the same thing. It's story, shoot, edit. Many of the professional videos that brokers hire to have done are very good on the shoot and the edit, but they have no story and they suck. I've seen a million of them. A better video, in my view, is one that's shot with a decent camera, but the story is strong and it's edited well. But no matter which you strengthen and which is weak, it's always the same 3 boxes. Story, shoot, edit. Okay? All right, so let's talk about the story for a second. When you're learning how to do this, my best advice is as follows. 1 topic per video, 1 idea. I've worked with a lot of people on what are called story concept and script development. They always screw this up. They want to say too much. No. 1 topic per video. Okay. Next point. Do not try to monetize your first videos. Many people have an expectation of that. Don't. They're not going to monetize. Okay. You're building your presence. You're learning how to do this. And third, and this kind of gets what you were saying, Lisa, I would encourage everybody to think about something they could teach someone else how to do. That doesn't mean you have to this is how a title plant works, or this is how escrow A to Z. Okay. Your videos should be a minute or 2, and that's it. If you're wondering about time length, 60 to 120 seconds is a good sweet spot. It's kind of hard to really teach anything less than a minute. Instagram Reels is 15 seconds. I can share a little bit of what I know with that at the end. But generally for content, for teaching purposes, for things, a good way to go, a minute or 2, right? And the hardest thing about that is going to be putting that content in that small of a box. And that is super important. Okay, let's talk about the script. When you're writing script, my best advice is this: 2 to 3 sentences per scene. Now, I've seen a lot of people do this, a lot of different ways that it works. Okay, I've been speaking professionally for over 30 years. Lisa says to me, "Hey Joe, talk about video." Sure, I can stand up on the box and I can talk for a whole day and don't even need notes. That's just me. Some of my clients, they can't say 3 cohesive words with the red button on without tripping over their tongue. And I've seen that a bunch of times too. So when you're thinking about what you're going to say in the scene, a couple sentences and that's it. All right, let's talk about editing quickly, okay? And I have something for you guys at the end. Lisa, remind me, I'm giving you guys all a hookup today. I'll just put it this way. Every video needs to be edited, period. I'm talking to business people about video for your business. Every video needs to be edited, period. your branding, skin tone, music, stuff like that, it needs to be edited. It's an expectation in the marketplace. And I'm not here to just say, press the red button on your iPhone and walk around the block. That's not what I'm teaching people how to do. There's more to it than that. And the reason is because I want you to make a video that's professional, presents you well, and that eventually will be something that you can monetize. And you cannot do that without editing, and that's just the truth. Okay, we'll come back to that. All right, next topic, number 3. I'm going to give you a couple of things about your camera settings that you need to know, all right, whether it's a phone or a real camera. So number 1 is 2 words, aspect ratio. These are settings in your camera or your phone. All of them have it. You want 16 by 9, which is typically represented in the device by 16:9. And what that does is it gives you a landscape video. Okay. Now, in the last few years, we have Instagram and Facebook Live and all that kind of stuff. My general advice to people is this. Don't shoot videos in portrait mode. Always shoot them in landscape mode. Okay. And I get Instagram and I get Facebook Live. If you're making videos that you're going to deploy, they're going to be edited, shoot everything in landscape and never in portrait. It's just how devices are built, how eyeballs are built. It's the way it should be. And also, you get a wider shot, which, especially when you're trying to show other things in the scene, you need that wider shot. And in the full seminar, I talk more about that. I'm not going to do that today. Okay, next thing. The resolution in your camera. 4 numbers. 1080, 1080. You hear a lot of people talking about something called 4K. Not necessary. And most people's machines don't have enough computing power to process 4K anyway for editing. Just shoot in 1080. It's fine. And if you're shooting with a phone, you also can set the number of megabits per second. Just set it high. That means more information per frame. But shoot in 1080, I recommend. And the last thing is this. If you're going to shoot video, you need to use an app. And the one that we recommend, I'll give you the name of it, it's called Filmic. 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 It's like $15. Works on iPhone, works on Android. We have everybody who comes to the seminar use this app because when you're shooting video, you have to lock down certain elements of the camera. You have to lock down the focus, lock down the exposure, and lock down the white balance. You can't do that with the traditional onboard camera. You have to have an app to be able to do that. Okay. All right. That's the camera. Now let's talk about the audio. Most people don't think about this. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yes.
All right, you guys, I just went into my camera settings. I don't know if you guys are doing that too. And FYI, mine defaulted to 720p. And then I had to add 1080 at 30, Joe, or 1080 at 60. Which do I want?
Yeah, so the 30 and 60 are the frame rates. I did not mention that. I probably should have. You want to use 30. I shoot in 24, but I tell most of my students to shoot in 30. You don't want to shoot in 60. It's too sharp. It doesn't look right. You shoot in faster frame rates like 60 or 120 or even 240 because by shooting that many frames per second, you can slow it down in the editor in post, and that's how you get slow motion. That's what that's there for. But for everyday shooting, shooting 30, you're fine. Okay, good question. Thank you. Okay, next thing, audio. You wouldn't think so, but the most important part of your camera is actually the microphone. You must shoot video with a microphone. It's going to sound like crap and people think you don't know what you're doing. So there's 2 kinds of microphones. One's called a lapel microphone and one's called a shotgun microphone. So a lapel microphone, just sits on your person, you wear it, and that's what I tell people to get when you're starting out. A shotgun microphone sits on top of your camera. You can only use shotgun microphones if you're within about 3 feet of the camera. Okay, they're nice to have for what are called run and gun situations. I don't recommend this to start out, but you must use a microphone if you're making a video for yourself. Okay, and if you are shooting your video with your smartphone, please write down these 4 letters. They're super important. T as in Tom, R as in Roger, R as in Roger, S as in Sam. TRRS. TRRS has to do with the polarity of the connection of the microphone. If you just use like a regular old microphone, it won't work on a smartphone because they're typically TRS or TS. You must have TRRS to make the grounding system work and for the microphone to work. Use a microphone. It's really important. It's the one thing. People say, what do I need to buy? What do I need to get first? You got a microphone? No, get a microphone. It's the first thing you need. All right. Let's talk about lighting. I'm going to give you 2 tips, tricks on lighting, okay? So first of all, let me just look at what you guys got going on. Okay, so I'm going to start with Amanda. So Amanda has a window to her right. Okay, so the right side of her face is overexposed. You're very pretty. But that's too much light on that side of your face. So if I was in that room with you, what we would do is we would address the window treatments to turn down some of that light. Okay? Same thing with you, Cheryl, but it's on the other side of your face. So you have light coming in on the left side. Brianna, yours looks pretty balanced. And if you look at Brianna's face, she has proper exposure on her left-hand side. And notice how her right-hand side is a little bit shadowed. That's a good look. If you look at me right now, it's the same thing. I have one light up here coming down on me this way. This is called a key light. And I have one over there called a fill light, so this isn't super shadowed. And then I also have a light above me to kind of help separate me from my background, okay? These are not accidents. I did this on purpose. If you don't have a light, that's fine. Sit in front of a window. I do it all the time with other people, okay? If you're going to purchase a light, what I want you to pay attention to, this is a little pro tip, again, 3 letters. C for Charlie, R for Roger, I for Indica. The CRI. That stands for the Color Rendering Index. The light I'm using right now with what's called a softbox cost me about $200. It's awesome. I love it, and I recommend it to tons of people. If you are in a situation where you can have, like your studio, like I'm doing right now, and this is a very small space, by the way, I'll explain that in just a minute. I always have this light set up. I know exactly where my camera goes and my other light. So I can just sit down and just bang a video real quick, and I don't have to set all this stuff up. So if you have an opportunity in your space to do that, that's what you should do. It's simple, it's effective, it's consistent, and all that, all right? And while I'm talking about that, I'm almost done here. Pay attention to what's behind you. That's another thing. Always pay attention to what's behind you. Now, what's behind me is a bunch of photographs that I downloaded from the internet of iconic, actors, actresses, and rock stars. I'm into that kind of thing. I printed them on my laser printer. I bought $2 frames at Walmart, and I taped the thing on top of it. That's what it is. Okay, before we go, I'll step back and I'll pull the camera back so you can see it better. But my whole backdrop cost me about $50. And people love it. They say it's cool. And the nice thing about a backdrop is that it helps to separate you from the background. Photos are two-dimensional. Video, you want to make 3-dimensional. So by having a backdrop and knowing how to do your lighting, you can separate yourself from the background. It's a more pleasing look. It's simple, it's cheap, and it looks better. Okay? But just think about that. Always pay attention to what's behind you when you're shooting video. And I think that, this whole Zoom thing, we start out realizing, oh crap, that matters, Okay.
So Joe, are you saying that my gun safe is not appropriate for my background?
That's a really good question, and one worth considering. If you have people that are anti-gun people, let's face it, it's Western Washington, takes all kinds. It might be a consideration. I don't know. I'm just saying, pay attention to what's behind you. Be mindful, and whatever you want to put in there, go for it. Okay. All right. Next thing. Look at the lens. I have coached so many people on this because for whatever reason, when that red button goes on, They look up, they look down, they look away. No, 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 no. Look right down the barrel of that lens the whole time. It's super important. And if you've not done video before, you'll see. And the audience knows. And the closer the camera is to you, the more we can see your eyes. All these things play. Look at the lens, okay? All right. Last little thing, we'll do some Q&A, and then I have a present for y'all, okay? We teach the video seminar with smartphones because that's the camera that everybody has, okay? And I still shoot some stuff with smartphones. Mostly I use cameras. But to business people, my counsel to you is this. If you're going to do video, and you should, you need to buy a camera. You do. A camera is going to give you a better look, more control. You have lens options. I've talked to a lot of people about this, and I say plan on spending about $1,000. Okay. Now, I'm a Canon camera. I'm an ambassador for Canon, so I'm going to promote Canon products. But I'm going to say this. When you get a real camera, one of the most important things to pay attention to is the autofocus system. And there's two brands that have the best autofocus systems for video right now. One is Canon and the other is Sony. And they're both excellent products, and they're both great. I'm preference to Canon for reasons I'm going to talk about now. But you should get a camera. You should get a decent microphone, and you should get a light. You're a professional. You know, if you're making over 100 grand a year, be a professional. And these are the tools that professionals use to convey a professional image. Story, shoot, edit. Of the three elements of a video, the editing will take you the most time. There's no doubt about it. We use a software, we recommend a software to all of our students. It's called Adobe Premiere Elements. Premiere Elements. This is not Premiere Pro, it's Premiere Elements. It costs less than $100. It's a one and done license. You don't pay for it every month. It's the best software I've found. That's the intersection of easy to use interface and expandability. Because once you start doing video, you're going to want to do some different stuff down the road. Everybody does. And they've built this. It's brilliant what they've done. And it's pretty simple to use. You can download that software for free, by the way, on Adobe's website. You can use a trial version. It's watermarked. Works exactly the same way. Okay? But editing is the bottleneck. It is. And if you're going to do Instagram Reels, you absolutely have to edit because you're time limited at 15 seconds. Okay? All right. I'm done huffing and puffing. Does anyone have any questions, or you want me to just start picking on people for 5 minutes? Victims or volunteers? Your decision.
Actually, I had a couple questions that I put in the chat.
Oh.
So my first question was, once you've mastered creating a video, which platform do you best load the video to? Because I've heard, do you go straight to Facebook? Do you do Instagram, or do you do YouTube and then seg it over to one of the other social media platforms? What is your thought on that?
That's an awesome question. And I have two thoughts. Number one is you put it on all of them, because once it's done, you just do. And the second thing is, remember that Facebook and Instagram are on one team and YouTube's on another, and they don't like each other. And I'm sorry, did you have a second question, or did that answer what you wanted?
Oh, I've got questions.
That's it? Oh, okay, go
I
ahead.
have more.
Oh, yeah, please.
If you are recording video outdoors, how do you alter the lighting, or is there anything you can really do with lighting if you're outside?
Yes. One simple thing and one kind of more complex thing that I'll just introduce. So when you're shooting video, you use something called the 180-degree rule. And here's what this means. And I don't want to be super technical. The app, if you use a phone, the app will actually do this for you. But basically what you're doing is you're setting your frame rate, and your shutter speed is always double your frame rate. So for example, Lisa said, how many frames per second? That's your frame rate. And I said 30. So if I set my camera or my phone for 30 frames per second, then the shutter speed, like how fast the shutter is taking those 30 pictures every second, will be 1/60th, because it's always double. All right. So inside of a room, inside of a house, let's say, that has a certain amount of light, 1/60th is like, okay, the exposure's cool. But then you walk outside and it's a sunny day You're still on 1/60th, and now everything's blown out. It's way too bright. So what do? Use something called a neutral density filter, an ND filter. What a neutral density filter does is it decreases the amount of light that is allowed in. It's not a polarizing filter, it's a neutral density filter. And the last thing I'll say about this, which is a little bit techie, but when you get into better cameras, there's a feature in a camera called dynamic range. And so dynamic range is how many stops of light does it read of white on one spectrum and black on the other. More dynamic range is better because it allows you to be in bright light conditions without things being overexposed. So for example, it's like I said, the right side of your face, because of the light coming in the window, you're using a camera, I'm assuming, that's sitting on top of a computer. It might be an aftermarket built in, doesn't matter. It's a crummy camera. It's a cheap camera. It has no dynamic range. And that's part of the reason that you're getting your highlights blown out, we say. The camera I'm using right now costs $2,200. It's not going to do that because you get what you pay for.
So most phones, if you're recording from your phone, they don't offer those options for either the NDR or the dynamic range, right?
Yeah, they're not going to have decent dynamic range, but you can buy filters for the phones. There's tons of them out there. Yeah. You can get an ND for a phone. Yeah. There's a company, it's in Issaquah, actually. It's called Moment. If you look it up, the Moment Lens Company. They sell these awesome lenses. And when I shoot with the phone, that's what I usually use because I have two of their lenses. I have their telephoto and I have their wide lens. The wide lens is really important if you're shooting like interiors of a house because you get way more in. With that aftermarket lens, they also sell neutral density filters. So I'd start there, the Moment Lens Company. And it supports the home team, right? So there you go.
Is it best to upload the video from your phone and then edit it on your desktop or edit from your phone?
I never recommend in-phone editing. And I know people do it, and that's fine. And I say no. You want to edit on a computer. You want to use a mouse because you want to have the amount of control that you need. I am one of the best editors I have ever met because I have spent, in the words of the great Malcolm Gladwell, my 10,000 hours learning how to edit. I know how to do this. I've taught thousands of people how to do it. Use your laptop or your desktop, get a mouse, get some software. At a place called The End of the Day, your workflow will be much faster and you'll be able to control the editing. Sometimes you have to control like one frame at a time, depending on where you want it cut. This is just what happens. So let me just say one more time. There's lots of different ways to do the same thing. What I teach people how to do is the intersection of professionalism and workflow. This has been my focus for 7 years. This is the camera you use. This is the software you use. This is the methodology you use. You'll get the best product you can the fastest way possible. That's what I've learned how to do. That's what I teach people how to do.
I may have a 20-year-old who might just probably edit for us. So Joe,
Sweet.
a lot of us, honestly, I know this crew and we all are like, shoot it, just want to post it, want to get out there. I don't have the time, energy, or desire, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm just thinking there's got to be outlets to where we can.
There is.
Send it to people.
There is.
Give us that wisdom.
Okay. So one of the things that's going to happen with the new video seminar courses that, again, will be out late summer, early fall. Look, Lisa, I've been listening to this from business people since I started doing this. I get it. It's a need in the marketplace. And so I've had a couple false starts, but I want to build this thing called the editing suite. And I'm going to teach you how to shoot videos so that you can just upload them to this site and we'll edit them for you. Okay. I don't have that yet. I know how to do it. I need some 20-year-olds, so we'll talk later. In the meantime, what I recommend is Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com. Simple videos. You can get edited for about $20. You go up from there. I think that's a great solution for now. And I've used some of those guys and they're good. There, they know what they're doing. Okay, Cheryl, I have a question for you. Ready? What's your question? Because I know you're sitting there very pensively. You got to unmute.
No, I don't have a question. Did you have a question for me?
That was my question. You're just very engaged and looking. I know this woman has a question. I guess I was wrong.
No, okay, so I'll tell you what, I am a chicken shit when it comes to these videos.
Why?
And I don't like making them at all. It takes me forever, like you said. So I even think a shorter video, you were talking, 1 to 2 minutes. I think even shorter for beginners. What would you recommend? For me, I'm thinking I need to talk about something I know inside and out just to have the confidence, to, like what the market is doing right now, give it a 30-second blip and be done. I don't know about editing or any of that. I usually do it in a business setting, not my home office.
So my personal website is joestill.net. It's right here. There's a tab here that says vlog, V-L-O-G. And there's about, I think, 12 or 15 of these up here. I'm not going to, you can look at these later. So each one of these is its own video. And for reference, I'll tell you this. Those videos are one shot, usually 2 takes. They're about a minute and a half piece. Each one of those videos, shooting and editing, took me about 15 to 20 minutes per video. That gives you a frame of reference. You can look at those later. This concern you have, Cheryl, I totally understand it. I do. And I don't want to make this sound real heavy because of the editing thing. I just, you're selling high-ticket items. You need to use this medium to build trust and show professionalism. And if you don't edit, you're not doing it. I'm sorry. It's just the truth. But don't walk away from this today going, oh, that guy, the editor, yeah, whatever. You can find somebody to do it. It's not that hard to do. Look at those vlogs. Again, 15 to 20 minutes a piece. Okay?
I don't do videos.
Do you want to?
I will say I actually did go to a studio and we did record agent interviews. So I do have a professional video coming about who I am and some of the stuff that I do in my real estate. So I am a little up there now. But no, as Lisa said at the very beginning, I have no problem taking selfies or talking about my gym stuff, but I just have to get over it and just start doing videos.
The last thing you said was, I have to start doing videos. And my question to you is, why?
Because the day and age that we're in, people want to know stuff and they want to see people's personalities, and the 2020 and 2021 thing is videos.
Okay. I cannot, if you're just like, I'm not doing this no matter what, dude. Okay. It's just more bandwidth for the rest of us, really. But I would offer you this. If you don't do this, your competition's going to be doing it, and they're going to be winning the eyeballs, and you're not.
Very true. It
is true. It's the strongest tool for leverage and differentiation and building trust and rapport that we've ever had. This is an amazing time we're living in right now. I mean, really, this phone you have in your pocket, some cheap software, you don't learn what you're doing. You got 2 billion people that you can communicate with. That's amazing. It's crazy.
So Joe, question for you. So we're talking about the videos and this may be another conversation, but the next piece is, how do we get those out? Yes, on our website, which you mentioned, but when you're competing, what would you suggest as we try to start building momentum? Just our Facebook or YouTube? How do we place ourselves? Okay,
so I have a couple comments on that. All right. So first comment, and I'm going to kind of go back to what I said before. People get so mesmerized, like on YouTube, by oh my God, look at all the subscribers. Yeah, and how many of them are going to end up being customers? Not many. Okay, and you might monetize through ad revenue and that kind of thing. Okay, so don't get hung up on the number. All right, instead think about the quality of the people that you want following you. That's my first point. Okay, my second point is this. The analogy that I use when I talk to clients about this is the bicycle wheel. Okay, and a bicycle wheel has a hub and it has spokes. The hub is your website. The spokes are all the social platform feeders. Okay, so how do you deploy? The question came up earlier. You know how to push to each one of these things and just put it on all of them. Okay, but always, 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 my suggestion is make sure that you identify your website, because your website has other information not contained on your video. Again, video is not going to save you from yourself. You know, if you know what you're doing and you're not organized and you don't really have much to say, video is not going to help you. But video will magnify, exacerbate by orders of magnitude the amount of attention that you can draw. And my advice is push that attention to your website because it has so many more things.
Do you have a company you recommend to build a website? If you wanted to build a new one, who do you recommend?
You know, that question comes up so much sometimes I think I should be doing that, but I'm not going to build your website, Arnie. Sorry. Here are my thoughts on that. And I don't want to, I'm not trying to hog time. I want to be a resource here. So if I'm out of time and out of bounds, just let me know. So 2 things to think about with websites. I don't have call this guy, but I have a couple thoughts for you that will help you get where you need to be. Okay. So the first thing to understand about websites is this. There's sort of like 2 categories in 2021, templates and WordPress. Okay. And they're different. So why WordPress? Okay. So WordPress gives you flexibility. You can do a lot more customization and things in WordPress than you typically can in the templates. I am a WordPress user. It's not for everybody. Templates are pre-built, and most of these companies have lots and lots and lots of templates that you can choose from. Here's a couple recommends, okay? So one recommend for templates is a company called Squarespace. Squarespace.com. They have lovely templates. They're really good. And I think they charge like $20 a month or something like that. The company that I use is called Bluehost. And I love Bluehost. And I know this is going to sound bad. I'm raising my hand early and saying, this is going to sound bad. I know, but it matters to me. When I have a problem, I want to pick up the phone and call somebody who speaks my language and we understand each other and I get it taken care of. Big, 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 big thing for me. And that's one of the reasons I use Bluehost. They're the best service I've ever had. If you've dealt with Comcast and other Verizon, these other people have been frustrated, you know what I'm saying. And if your website is a big part of your identity, you don't want it to blow up. So I like Bluehost. And Bluehost offers templates as well. And they have a service where they'll build your website for you.
Well, I have, my son does some editing, so I guess I could have him, or I mean, not some, he does do editing. He films and he's been pretty slow. So maybe that he could be instrumental in helping edit some of us, in regards to do some filming.
Yeah.
Yeah, he shot with the Canon as well, but I'm not quite sure what camera it was, but.
Doesn't matter.
And something that I learned when in listening to him and his filming or on his projects, like for his are a little bit longer. Like if he does a trailer, then of course it's longer, like 3 to 4 minutes long. So it's like that first 30 seconds is what you really have to capture your audience's attention.
It's actually half that. It's about 17 seconds. I've been studying this for a long time. You're right.
And that's how you reel them in. Whatever information you're providing, that's where you want it. Just get it at that point, and then you've reeled them in, hopefully.
Yep.
How do you feel about words in your videos? Like a lot of people don't listen to videos on with actual volume. You're in a meeting or on the go or,
So I have a client in Los Angeles, and he pays me by the hour, and I help him with story concept, script development, and I'm his editor right now, although we're phasing out of that. I told him I don't want to be your editor, but he had no choices, and he has a lot of money, so I said, okay. He now uses this service, and I can't remember the name of it, but you upload your video to them, and they put the words on the bottom. It's like automatic, and it's like free, and it's for exactly the reason that you say. And I'm like, that's sweet, because some people they're at work or they just can't listen to it. Yeah, I think that's fine. Length of video, putting words in it, all this stuff and more stuff I'm not talking about today. My job as an instructor is to give you kind of a template and a framework so that you're not just, oh my God, what do I do? That's what I'm a teacher. It's what I do. But when you develop a level of of comfort with what you're doing, remember this too. Eventually you develop your style. And the words could be a part of your style. I have a style. I have a backdrop. I shoot certain light settings and things of this nature. And I've just learned this is my style. So I think the words could be a style element as well. Yeah. What I'm not a big fan of is the green screen.
Are you saying that program that guy uses, is it like adding closed caption on the video? So it's like verbatim word for word like you would see on TV? Or is it just like what you see on TikTok where it's like a burst of words here and there?
No, it's like closed caption. He's saying the words and you're watching them go across the screen on the bottom. Okay, this is the website the guy was talking about. It's rev.com. And I guess they charge $1.25 a minute, which is great. So in my relationship with this client, I write the scripts and the story concept with him. We talk about it on Zoom. Usually I'll record it and I'll read it and be in character. So he has a reference to kind of see what it should look like. He goes and shoots it. He uploads it to Google. I download it. I edit it. I send him back the edited piece. He then takes the edited video, puts it in this Rev thing, and he gets it back with the words on it, and then he's ready to start doing all his posting. So that's the workflow that we use, and it works pretty well for us.
Hey, Joe, real quick, do you have a specific recommendation for a smartphone microphone?
I do, actually. The one that costs about $20 on Amazon. Yeah. So if you go, let me just show you one thing here real quick. Back to the videoseminar.com. So there is a tab on this website called Kit, K-I-T. And this is another video right here that you should look at. We've put together all the extra goodies that you need. We offer these at the live seminar. They're $100. Saves you about $20 or $30. Everything extra that you would need to make high quality video with a smartphone, we just packaged it all up. But watch that video and you'll see about the microphone, and the one that we sell in the kit's about $20. The one that I use personally, and you can write this down, it's by a company called Rode, R-O-D-E, Rode. This microphone's a Rode broadcast mic. I use Rode wireless mics. And for my own personal kit, I use their TRRS lapel mic. It costs, I believe, $79. I love the sound tonality I get out of Rode mics. That's why I use them. They make my voice sound good. At least I think so, but what really matters is what you think, right?
Sounds good.
Yeah. Dawn, can I help you with anything else?
No, that was a good tip. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. Lisa, do you want to bring us home here?
Guys, give Joe a hand. Thank you, Joe. Thanks for being so generous with your time. I will tell you.
Joe, I have to get out of my shell. I understand. I'm just not very good at it.
You don't know if you're good at it because you haven't done it.
I have done 2 videos. 2.
I don't even like to hear my voice.
I know, right? I hear you.
I think that's why we're in this group, though. We're here to build each other up and get us out of our
Yes.
own.
Okay, so
And Joe, you're a good,
hold on.
you're a good encourager.
Thank you. Teaching moment right here. We just had one. Okay. How about Trixie and Cheryl make a video about all the reasons you don't want to be on video?
My red face, because every time I talk, my face turns red.
Yeah. And I can edit the audio so you sound like Minnie Mouse.
That's awesome.
Okay. So this is the deal, people. It's important to remember that if you can entertain somebody with a video, that's the money. And we've been buying into this for years. It's called the movies. Same thing. So little brainstorm ideas that you wouldn't think are good videos are actually your best videos, just like what I just said. And Cheryl, to your point, and I'm saying this as an instructor, and I'm doing this forever and ever, amen. I don't care what the topic is. When I find that student who at the beginning is like, this sucks, I hate you, I'm out. By the end, they're just like, epiphany, blown away, can't wait to go, peel me off the ceiling. So my guess is if I can seduce you into doing this, that you are going to take it and be magnificent. And you're going to be happy.
Thanks, Coach.
How about that? Rich, happy, magnificent.
Cheryl's got a great personality. She'll be good at it.
Oh, I can tell. I can tell.
2 billion people.
Right.
Oh, Arnie.
All right, friends. I got another Zoom call that I just realized is 6 minutes over with another client. So I got to go. Thanks, people. This is awesome. Tons of fun.
Guys, have
And
a great week.
and Lisa, I will call you later, but I need to get a link to download that video, the Zoom thing, okay? All right.
Send it over to you.
Peace.